Area of complex shapes are just shapes that we can find rectangles, squares, and or triangles in them. So we're going to do two examples on finding the area of complex shapes. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to decompose, should be a familiar word, decompose our complex shapes into shapes that we already know, such as rectangles, squares, and or triangles. So in this first example, I have a J looking kind of shape, and we're going to break it apart into rectangles and or squares, because I'm not sure what I'm going to be breaking it into yet, to find the total area. So I'm going to break it apart to areas that I can figure out and then assemble them into one big total area and when we're all done. So if this is difficult for you, you're welcome to get out grid paper and draw it out. Use grid paper as a tool. So what I would do is I would go down 10 boxes, and then I would go across 8 boxes, and then I would have to start figuring out what my missing numbers are in order to finish it out. And then I can count up all my squares inside to figure out my total area. So you are going to have to use a little bit of subtraction to figure out the missing parts of the pieces. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to break this into 3 rectangles. All right, so this first one right here, I can see pretty quickly, and this one right here, I can see pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and use my red marker and break off so you can see. I'm going to have that piece right there. So we have 8 times 10. So this piece right here is going to be 80 square units. So I'm going to put units squared. Okay. All right, going off into this piece over here, when I break it off, I'm going to use my blue. All right, I know that this piece is 4 times 6. So this piece right here is 24 units squared. Okay, so that leaves this middle piece still to figure out how big it is. So I know that this length is 8 right here, but I need to know what this is right here. So how do I figure that out? Well, I know that this piece right here is 2 and the whole is 6. So I need to figure out 2 and what makes 6. So you see how 6 is over here? That's where I'm getting the 6. So if this is 2 and this whole thing is 6, that means this piece right here is 4. So in green, I'm going to go ahead and put 4. That's how big this line is right here. So 4 is right here. So this is my middle one. So 8 times 4, and that's 32. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all 3 of these, and I end up getting 136 units squared, right out of room on the side. So that's one way to figure it out. Now, you are welcome to cut off this piece and this piece and then find this piece right here. You're welcome to do that as well. I find that a little bit more difficult because I'm going to have to figuring out this piece and this piece. There's a little bit more subtraction that I have to go on to figure it out. But you are more than welcome to cut this piece off, find the area here, cut this piece off, find the area here, and then you'd have this whole long piece that you would have to find the area for. All right? Okay, let's do another one where we're going to have a triangle when we decompose. We should know what this shape's called. It's called a trapezoid because we've got 2 parallel pieces and the other 2 are not parallel. And again, this is called a right trapezoid because I've got a right angle in one of the corners. So again, I have 2 shapes that I can decompose this into, a rectangle and a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rectangle first because that's going to be my easier part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off with the red my triangle. So all my red is my rectangle. Okay, I know my rectangle is going to be 9 times 12. So I'm going to put that in red to show that this part is my area, and that is 108 inches squared when I figured that out. So now I need to figure out this triangle piece. Okay, I know the height of my triangle is 9 because that's what it is over here. So it's 9. I need to figure out what this baby piece is. Well, if I know this whole thing is 15 and this is 12, 12 plus what makes 15? That's 3. So how do we find the area of a triangle again? We do base times height and divide that by 2. So I have 27 divided by 2, which is 13 and a half. And that's inches squared. So then I add my green triangle and my red rectangle. So 108 plus 13 and a half gives me 121 and a half inches squared when I find the area of that. Now, some of you, again, you are welcome to draw this on grid paper, 9 boxes down, 15 across, 12 across, and then connect your 2 vertices. Some of you might want to actually extend this out, find the whole rectangle, 15 times 9, and subtract out that piece. You're welcome to do that too, whatever makes more sense to you. For me, it's breaking them into a triangle and into a rectangle. And that is how we find the area of complex shapes.